What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our college football channel. The preseason coaches poll just came out about an hour or two ago, and I'm going to share that with you in case you have not seen that preseason top 25, and just give a quick reaction to my thoughts on the top 25. So let's get right into it. Starting at the top, no surprise, you've got Alabama at number 1, Ohio State at number 2, Georgia number 3, Clemson number 4, interesting, Notre Dame number 5, Michigan number 6. Most of the first place votes going to Alabama. Ohio State and Georgia had 5 and 6. So that's not really a surprise at all. Those are the three teams that everyone's got at the top. Clemson at number 4. That's pretty high considering where they were last year, as bad as the offense was last season. So I think they may be a little bit too high. Notre Dame at number 5, maybe a little bit too high. But at the same time, who are you going to put at 4 and 5? I mean, it's hard to say who should be up there. So I don't really have a problem with it. Michigan at number 6. I'd probably put Michigan at number 4 just because of what they did last year. I understand it's a new year and everything, but Clemson, Notre Dame were a good bit behind Michigan last year, and Michigan does return a lot on offense. So I'd probably put Michigan at number 4. I haven't done my preseason top 25 just yet. Watch for that. It'll be coming out really soon, and I'm not for sure where I'm going to have all these teams. But again, Clemson at 4 seems a little bit high to me, although they seem to be the favorite for that 4th playoff spot when you look at some of the other predictions. We've got another team with the first place vote. I'll get to them in just a second. You go to 7 through 12 here. Texas A&M at number 7, Utah at number 8, Oklahoma at 9, Baylor at 10, Oklahoma State at 11, Oregon at number 12. Again, with Texas A&M, I think it's really a lot about the recruiting class. They had a great recruiting class coming in this year. I think they're overrated, though. If you followed me this offseason, you know that. The team's just going to be too young. If they get great quarterback play, if Haynes King or Max Johnson comes in there and they play like an all-SEC type quarterback, then sure, Texas A&M could be a top 10 team. But without that, I think they're a bit overrated. Utah probably should be up higher. Maybe put Utah up there with Michigan for that number 4 spot. This is a team that returns a lot. They just went to the Rose Bowl. They were really good last year. I think Utah may be a little bit underrated here. Oklahoma at number 9, Baylor at 10. I think those two teams are the best two teams in the Big 12. Probably a pretty good spot to put them. Maybe a little high, but I don't know. I think that's pretty fair. Oklahoma State, I think, is being overrated. I've talked about them a lot this offseason. Just losing their 2 starting linebackers, not much production coming back in the secondary. I think the defense will not be as good as it was last season. And Spencer Sanders really hasn't shown that he can be a great quarterback as a passer. I just think this team is overrated. I think 11 is way too high for the Cowboys. Oregon at 12, a pretty solid ranking for them. I think they are a top 15 team, so I think that's a pretty good spot for them. 13 through 18, you've got NC State at number 13. Pretty good spot. Michigan State, I think, is a top 10 team. I've talked about that a lot this offseason. I think this is going to be a really good team. So I think they should be a little bit higher. USC at 15, probably pretty fair for them. Pittsburgh at number 16, maybe overrated just a little bit. I think they are a top 25 team, but losing your starting quarterback, losing your top receiver, yeah, they're going to have a good run game. They're going to have a good defense, and that's why I do think they're a top 25 team. But 16 seems a little bit high. Miami at 17 is a little bit low for me. I've talked about them a lot this offseason. I think this team is the real deal. They're going to be really good this year. I think they're a top 10 team, so I think they're way too low. And Texas at number 18, what's really interesting is that 1 over there. Someone voted Texas in first place. I mean, that had to be an error. That makes absolutely no sense. I have no idea how anyone could put Texas at number 1. And really, I don't know if they should even be ranked. It's a team that didn't even go to a bowl game last year. And it's going to be a similar team this year. I mean, I guess everyone's expecting Quinn Ewers to come in there and be this great quarterback. And he might be, but a lot of unknown there for Texas. A lot of question marks on defense. 18, I guess, is okay. I would still probably not have them ranked that high. But whoever put them in first place, I mean, what is going on with that? That is just, I wonder what their ranking would have been if they had not gotten that first place vote, because they absolutely should obviously not be the number 1 team. I guess somebody out there thinks that this Texas team is going to win the national championship, and it was a coach. This is the coach's poll. I would love to know who that was. You look at 19 through 25 here, Wake Forest, pretty good spot for them. Wisconsin. So I've talked about the Big Ten West, and not a lot of separation between Wisconsin, Nebraska, Iowa, Purdue, Minnesota. I have a problem with Wisconsin at 20, and none of those other teams even ranked. So there's my problem there. Wisconsin lost a ton on defense. Graham Mertz has not proven he can do much in the passing game, and they lost all their top receivers. So I think they're overrated a little bit coming into this year. And again, that Big Ten West is all really even. Yeah, so 20 a little high for me. Kentucky at 21, pretty fair. I think that's a pretty good spot. Cincinnati at 22. Some people think they're going to drop off. I think Cincinnati's going to be pretty good this year. Arkansas at 23, maybe a little bit low. Maybe I'd put them a little bit higher. Ole Miss, I think I'd probably put a little bit higher as well. And then Houston at number 25, a pretty good spot for them. So overall, I think the Coaches Bowl did a pretty good job with these rankings. No real major issues. You see the other teams receiving votes. Iowa, Penn State, Tennessee, BYU, LSU, Auburn, UCF. So out of those teams, Tennessee may be a team that should be in the top 25. BYU, with all their production returning, maybe they should be in the top 25. LSU has a lot of talent. Very surprised to see Auburn there at 98. A lot of votes for Auburn to get into the top 25. The other teams here, I don't really see any of them having much of an argument to get into the top 25, except for maybe Minnesota and Purdue. Those are two teams that, again, are right there in the Big Ten West. And where's Nebraska? Unless I'm overlooking them, no votes for. So if you're going to put Texas in the top 25, a team that didn't get to a bowl game last year, I think you'd have to at least consider Nebraska as well. This is also a team that struggled last year, but they lost all those close games. They should be improved this year, and I don't even see them on this list. So that's interesting as well. So those are the teams that did get votes but didn't get into the top 25. I will, again, release my top 25 here very soon. Just a quick reaction video and showing you guys the coaches poll. I'm sure the AP poll will be out pretty soon. Pretty good poll. No major issues except for Texas, of course, getting that first place vote. Definitely some things, though, that I would change. What would you change? Give me your thoughts on this top 25 and maybe how you'd rank the teams down in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports College Football Channel.